All right, so we are back in South Africa. My South African people. Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, these days, you cannot talk about Africa without talking about South Africa. So something's happening in South Africa right now. Interesting. What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. I know we don't know each other. My name is Zack. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is your first time. Hey, we're going to love each other, no doubt, by the end of this video. Please click on the button subscribe. YouTube said many of you guys watch us, but you don't subscribe. I don't know why you do that, but let's push this channel further. Okay, now we are in South Africa. Here's the map. South Africa is the country of Nelson Mandela. Remember Mandela? Great guy. Well, he's a great guy, but many South Africans believe he wasn't a great guy. He was a soul out.
We grew up with this fallacy of this new South Africa, this place that's going to let us dream and be whoever we are. But now, as young adults, we are being blocked.
He sold his people to the white supremacists because he wanted peace. After everything South Africa had gone through, the beatings, the lootings, the way they were treated like animals, he shouldn't have allowed what had happened. Mandela's policy was that of let's accept each other, let's be fun with one another, let's pass this, let's create a rainbow nation. That was very detrimental to black people, many people believe, because then the economy of the country remained within the hands of the oppressors at the time. So white people of South Africa kept the economy in their control, and the blacks only got out of the freedom charter the ability to go to town, to go into the big malls, to walk freely in the street. Nothing financial, no lands, nothing. Anyway, let's get back to track. So South Africans have come up with an interesting bill. The bill seeks to give governments the power to determine the language and admission policy in schools. This is very interesting. In current arrangements, school governing bodies consisting mostly of parents and community leaders determine these. Let me break this down. Schools choose policies on who they admit, who they accept in their school. So they look at you, they say, we accept you. Or they look at you, they go, no, we don't accept you. They don't necessarily say, we refuse you because of A, B, C, D. But it's their sole proprietor right to say, we accept this one, we accept that one, we don't accept this one. This is very interesting because now government can say, we can choose which language you're going to choose in your school or who you can accept in your school. We're going to select the policies for you. Now, in schools also, they can choose which language they want to teach in. And this is not something very nice. They don't like it. I'm going to remind you something here. Critics says the bill is a threat to single language schools, particularly those in Afrikaans language that are spoken in the country by white minority people. I'm reminding you here, fellas. I don't know if you watched our video. There's a video we spoke about here. They were going to build a big university, one of the biggest in Africa.
There are plans to build a massive 3.2 billion rand fully Afrikaans university in South Africa. This private Christian university will be exclusively Afrikaans, forming part of academia, a higher education institution.
Solely in Afrikaans, they were going to invest billions of rand into the school that's going to teach people about agriculture, about civics, about science, about economics, because many things, major university, but exclusively in Afrikaans. Now, Afrikaans is only spoken, not only necessarily, but mostly spoken by Dutch descendants and French and Germans mixed in South Africa. These are white people. Okay, these are the people that were privileged at the time during apartheid. They controlled the economy and the land and everything of the country. Now, after Mandela in 1994, Afrikaans still kept their communities together instead of mixing and mingling with black people. It's not necessarily what you see. Okay, South Africa is a free country. Everybody does what they want. But if you look deeply, you will see this is Afrikaans group. These are the black people. There you see the Indians and there you see the colored. Officially, everybody's cool. But unofficially, if you look well, even in jobs, during breaks, at 12 o'clock, you see the whites in the corners. The black people speaking Zulu and Setswana and whoever. The colored speaking their language in the corner, and the Indians. Well, sometimes the white and the Indians are dealing with each other. Just keep the black away. Anyway, black. Black. Anyway, so Afrikaners have come together. These people are very organized. They're very organized. They're a real community. You know, by real community, I mean, they help each other. They protect one another. They offer each other jobs and opportunities. Unlike what most black people do. Because let's face it, fellas, when a black person does good in life and is coming up, Who are his biggest enemy? You know, I'm not going to say that. Well, Afrikaans help each other. They go like, hey, you need a job. What qualifications do you have? Oh, I got my friend. He's got an IT company. Give me your stuff. They do that. Okay. Now, the bill seek to give government power to choose the language and the policy you're going to use in your school or private university. And clearly, the Afrikaners and a group of other people are not very happy with that. They're not very happy with that. Now, the background is this. Afrikaans and Afrikaners have built their own schools with their own money, with their own community. They brought money together through their own churches. The black people have done that. They have not done that. Institutions and buildings that were created during apartheid for most cases are still the one being used right now by blacks and white people. So Afrikaners continued after independence, building their own stuff, keeping the culture together, creating Orania, which is a city where only Afrikaners are authorized. Black people were just being joyous, going into the city. Now they can go into a mall and look at iPhones in the window, even if they don't buy. Now they can go to Markham's and buy a t-shirt. Instead of coming together, now we have some money. Let's build a school where we're going to speak exclusively Setswana or Sizulu. No, we don't have that. But now, in order, like many Afrikaners feel like they're trying to stop them from building their own things, especially schools. Critics say the bill is the threat to single languages school, particularly those in Afrikaans language. South Africa has 12 official languages. While most schools use English as a medium of instruction for a certain age, some use Afrikaans, the language that's developed among Dutch and other European colonial settlers in the 17th century. Out of 23,700 public schools, at least 2,484 are Afrikaans language schools. So 23,000 schools, 2,000 Afrikaans nationwide. This shows you 10% of schools are in Afrikaans in South Africa, and almost none of them are in Zulu. Anyway, let's continue. So the Democratic Alliance leader, John Stuyvesant, he said he would meet the president, Cyril Ramaphosa, before he signs the bill into law on Friday. So he's going to have a discussion with the president. John Stuyvesant, let me just remind you, he's part of the DA. The DA is a white... is a predominantly white political party.
DA-run Midvaal is now the best-run municipality in Gauteng.
Which have a few blacks. Yeah, that's just, you got to bring in some color, make it look like, but the authority, just being honest. Anyway, he's going to go meet the president, Cyril Ramaphosa, to review this bill. Why? Because in this election, the ANC lost power against other political parties. Why did they lose power? The ANC is the group of Nelson Mandela. They started the struggle against apartheid.
Actually, you have already acted what I was going to say. All that remains for me to say is that the struggle continues.
However, after Nelson Mandela, the structure of the ANC had completely changed. Many people believe they became too greedy. They were trying to feed each other, feed off one another, and not helping the people they were initially fighting for, the black people. They had made promises to the black people to build the schools, to build toilets and stuff, and they never really delivered on any of that. Like most African people and countries and president, they would preach you all these good things. As soon as they get in power, they do other things. They enrich themselves, build big houses, have a third and a fourth and a sixth wife, and they want to massage your tippy toes. Anyway, unfortunately, the people did not get what they were promised. Therefore, in these elections, the ANC lost power for the very first time, and they were obliged, they felt compelled to go on a coalition with their most critical enemy, the DA, the white people that subdued them during apartheid. I know things have changed, but you got to remind people history, what history is. So the ANC of Nelson Mandela today work together in a coalition with the white people to beat the smaller other black people. I'm just being honest with you. So now that's why Mr. John Stuyvesant, sorry I murdered his name, is going to see Cyril Ramaphosa and discuss with him and see if they can, Mr. Cyril, we're working together. Let's the white people have their own Afrikaner school. So good try by South Africa, but hey, is this bill going to be signed by Cyril Ramaphosa to be made law, where the school selection of people and languages can only be done by government? And again, before we finish, John Stuyvesant, who's the president or the leader of the DA right now, went to Ukraine. He's a staunch supporter of Ukraine, went to Ukraine to pay respect to the people that were unalive during the war.
Well, we're here on the Ukraine-Poland border, just on the Poland side in a little town called Mwekassa. where a large refugee camp has been set up here to try and get the people who have been displaced from the invasion of their country by the Russian government and the war that has pushed them from their homes.
So in other words, Cyril Ramaphosa's ANC support Russia.
Shut up, you stay nation and listen. You look around the world.
And the DA support Ukraine and the West.
The Honourable President told me to shut up. I'd like him to answer, but shut up is unparliamentary. And if you're
Now you understand where we're going. Let me know how you feel about this. Can the government in South Africa decide which language is going to be taught in school, or they should let Afrikaners do their own things and they have their Afrikaner schools and they have their rights to admission to the schools? God bless.